How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Next Goal Wins TV. Coach Javi here. Today, we're going to be talking about Everton and Liverpool, the Merseyside derby. They said it on the broadcast, 75% of their matches have ended in a draw between Everton and Liverpool over their course of however many years, right? That number has just gone up because, again, another draw, so I'm sure it's gone up to 76, 77% or whatever. It was one of the most entertaining matches of the season, by far, not from a tactical perspective. As far as tactics, I wrote down, I have a notebook, and in my notebook, I always write down all of the different times in the match where I saw some tactical concepts, some themes, and that's how I break it down with all these tactical analysis that I've been doing on the channel. I started writing down a couple things because I was like, this game's going to get really interested. So maybe I'll do a tactical breakdown. As soon as the match was over, I realized that there's absolutely no need for a tactical breakdown because you didn't need to see it from that perspective. The game was a physical battle. Everton came out and tried to disrupt as much as Liverpool's play as possible. This is the first time all season where I feel like Liverpool have struggled because a team has been so physical against them. Typically, teams will either pack it in and they'll play a low block and then they'll frustrate Liverpool that way and then they'll hit them on the counterattack, or they'll try and find other little areas like, for example, the space behind Trent Alexander-Arnold and his defending, that little space to exploit. Teams have done that in the past. This is the first time that they've just said we're going to beat the shit out of Liverpool. Let's be honest. That's what they came out and said. Fair play to Liverpool because when you are typically a really good team on the ball, technically you have a lot more natural talent on your roster. You want to play. You want to showcase your skill. So anytime somebody turns it into a physical match, it just gets really annoying. You don't want that. You don't want to be getting kicked every time you touch the ball. And Liverpool responded really well. And the fact that there was like 5 or 6 yellow cards in the first half. At the end of the match, by the way, if you guys didn't know, it was Curtis Jones, it was Jokore, I believe, and it was Arne Slot that ended up getting red cards after the match. There might have been more, but that's what I heard from the broadcast after the whole scuffle broke out right after the match was over. Before we get into that right now, let's talk about the actual match. Liverpool, again, like I said, they were struggling in that sense of trying to be able to play their own game. However, this I thought was the performance that you look back at the end of the season and you say, that's the reason why we're Premier League champions. And the reason I say that is because if you're not a Premier League caliber team or a champion caliber team, these are the games where you end up losing or you end up drawing because, the other team managed to get under your skin and you just don't know how to manage the game. The fact that you can change your style of play and say today's performance is going to be a lot different than our usual performances, and that's how we're going to have to grind out the result up until the very last play of the game, I thought that's the performance that Liverpool needed to be crowned champions, really, to let everyone else know in the Premier League that the title race is over. Specifically Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal is the closest team to be able to take anything from Liverpool. And the reason why I thought if Liverpool won this game, it would be completely over is because news just came out also that Kai Havertz has torn his hamstring and he's out for the rest of the season. With that being said, Arsenal are now struggling with strikers. There's a couple other injury concerns. Obviously, we lost Bukayo Saka. So, and I say we because I'm an Arsenal fan. So I'm when I do these videos, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, and I catch myself saying we whenever I talk about Arsenal. However, my actual opinion is as objective as possible. I've been super impressed with Liverpool's play throughout the season. I think they've been one of the teams that has really impressed me with Arne Slot's philosophy, with the way that they've adapted to his philosophy, and the way that they've been able to grind out results. However, you got to be able to do that for the entire match. And I think the fact that it was the last play of the game, Liverpool, they're still going to win the Premier League. But now that they've dropped those 2 points that they could have had they been able to hold on, now there's a little bit of, I wouldn't say doubt, but now it's like, shit, the league is still open. There's still a chance because now we're only 7 points ahead of Arsenal. That's 2.5 games that we could lose all of a sudden against some good teams, and Arsenal could be back in it. I still think there's no chance. And I actually think Arne Slot's going to go into that locker room. He's going to tell them in the locker room, he's going to say, we're going to win the Premier League. I am not going to allow us to not win the Premier League after this match, after what happened during this match. And I think the players are going to be up for it. They're going to really respond in their next few matches. And I know they got a lot of games coming up, and it's going to be very, very difficult, especially now that, Curtis Jones has a red card. Arne Slot is out with a red card. It's going to get crazy with these next few games. And I think the total is like 5 games in 15 days. So a game every 3 days, which is crazy, but that's what happens when you're a top team in England. You're playing in a lot of competitions. Back to the game. We'll talk about what happened at the end of the whistle. First of all, before we do that, James Tarkowski, what a strike. That is going to be the best goal he'll ever score in his life. That is going to be one of the moments that he talks about forever when he tells his kids and his grandkids stories about him as a player. And at the end of the season, maybe even at the end of his career, they're going to ask him, what was your most memorable moment? And that one is going to be playing in his mind. It's going to be a highlight reel playing in his mind over and over. It was a brilliant strike. Nothing Allison can do about it. As soon as the the match is over and the whistle is blown, it looks like Doucouré goes and celebrates in front of the Liverpool fans. And if you look at it, he actually but he runs right after the full-time whistle. He runs over to that section. It wasn't like he was just in that position and he started celebrating. He ran over to them purposely to celebrate in front of them. Curtis Jones sees this, goes up to him, pushes him. It leads to a whole brawl, scuffle, and then all of a sudden you got 3 red cards at the end of the match. That to me is a little bit disappointing because I think the rivalry should be the players versus the players, and the fans versus the fans. Let the fans get into it with each other. Let the players get into it with each other. But anytime it goes the players getting into it with the fans, that I think starts taking away from the game a little bit. And only because we saw this in, like, for example, we saw this in the Copa America with Uruguay, and I can't remember what team it was. You guys remind me in the comment section. But when Uruguay went into the stands and fought all of the fans. When that kind of shit happens, that's the part that bothers me, because it's like, fuck, you're taking away from the entertainment and all of the drama that happened on the pitch. So I'm a little bit disappointed about that. I think a player should never purposely go and celebrate in front of the fans. I've seen a lot of celebrations. I think it's okay when a player scores a goal and they're like running back and they shush the fans and things like that. I think a little bit of back and forth is okay. But I think when tensions are so high, especially after a game like that, the last thing you need to do is run over to those fans. Go and celebrate with your own fans. Title race, because I think that's the next big question, right? I've already mentioned it in this video. I've said it multiple times before, and I actually said it before the new year, sometime around like November, maybe early December. I was like, the Premier League's done for. Liverpool, the way that they're playing, the points that they're getting, the points that they're not dropping, Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, they're all struggling. And I don't see them winning every single match until the end of the season in order to just make Liverpool, nervous about it. I think Arsenal's going to drop points. Manchester City is obviously struggling right now. Chelsea, inconsistent. Nottingham Forest, I think they're going to drop probably to 4th or 5th by the end of the season. I don't see a single team that's anywhere near Liverpool right now. So even though Mikel Arteta is probably at home celebrating that Tarkowski goal running around his living room, I think deep down he knows that it's just a matter of time. And I'm going to double down on my prediction and tell you guys that the season is going to be over and Liverpool will be officially crowned champions probably 3 games before the season's over. That's how early I think they're going to do it, and I think it's not really a debate anymore. I think this just gives everyone a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism that, if Liverpool don't bounce back from this performance, it could blow the title race wide open. But like I said, I think it's done and dusted. Regardless, what a fantastic game. Stuff that I absolutely love to watch. Let me know, guys, in the comment section down below what you guys think, and we'll catch you in the next one.